What's up, everybody? Brant Phillips with Real Estate Fundamentals. So last night I had some friends over. Some real estate friends were hanging out, brought wife, kids, things like that. Our kids were playing in the pool, swimming and stuff like that. And it was me and three of my buddies, longtime buddies, go back for many, many years. So we're out, hanging out, having some conversations, having some drinks, just talking, relaxing. What were we talking about? Real estate, life, business, all that kind of stuff. But today, this morning I was kind of reflecting on just getting to hang out with my buddies again and just having a good time, but also some of the conversations that we had. It was very, very cool to see some of the growth of my friends. Why? Because a couple of the guys who came over last night were like former students of mine, right? And so I saw them when they were just starting, and now we're talking years later. And it was just amazing to see that the growth that they had, and that the conversations from last night reminded me of another lesson that I've taught over and over and over the years. I've spoke about even here on YouTube and other places, live events and things like that. And it's all about filling up your real estate buckets. All right, filling up your real estate buckets. So I want to give you guys a quick lesson, a quick overview on how to fill up your real estate buckets, because this is absolutely critical for you to create the lifestyle, the wealth, and things like that you're looking to create in real estate. Because last night when I'm talking to my friends, I was like, we're talking about all of these different types of real estate investment activities, some of them active, some passive, some wealth creation, but they filled up the multiple buckets of real estate. And also, do your own due diligence. But I think you'll find when you start really researching on how to create wealth and how people create their income and their these lifestyles that people desire to have. Most millionaires, meaning a majority of, have created their wealth through multiple streams of income. It's not coming from one source. Something like 65% of all millionaires have at least a minimum of 3 income streams. I have about 8, sometimes like really 9 or 10, but a couple I don't really count, right? And so the more streams of income, the more buckets that you can fill, and that's what we're really talking about, the more likely you are to achieve and reach your goals and dreams and everything that you do. Now, I will caution you, like I'm going to caution you very strongly, is that you want to keep your focus, right, like in the same arena. Like all of my buckets, everything that I'm doing to create multiple streams of income are all in the real estate realm, right? Like I'm not opening up, burger franchises over here and doing this MLM thing over here. Like it's all in the world of real estate. So everything that I do has the capability to be synergistic with other businesses and other opportunities and ventures that I'm a part of, if that makes sense, right? So I got a little whiteboard here. Forgive my poor little handwriting here, but active, passive, and wealth. So these are the buckets that you're going to want to begin focusing on and filling up as you proceed, along your path as a real estate entrepreneur. So what are we talking about? The active bucket, right? Like what kind of dollars go into the active bucket, right? This is in the beginning, guys, like this is where your focus needs to be. And I'm going to show you how when you can start filling up this bucket, and then it's going to overflow into the passive bucket and into the wealth creation bucket. But I really want to talk about active income here for a little bit, because I've seen a lot of people that, just come blazing out of the gate, and they've got this big dream, this big, goal that they want to hit, but they don't really figure out, right? They don't really figure out kind of the cover your bills, pay your bills kind of thing, don't burn out, and create a sustainable business model first. They're like, hey, I want to have, $10, $20, $30,000 of passive income, but it takes time to build that up. And if you don't meet this bucket, this is kind of like if we talk about like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't want to go there really, but this active bucket, this is your day-to-day bills. This is what covers your cost of living. This is what, you know, keeps your spouse, you know, from allowing you to keep doing what you're doing, right? And this keeps you survive, food on the table. Now, a lot of people are working a full-time job, a job, while they're trying to do real estate, you know, investing and things like that, which it's okay to a certain extent. But kind of what I discovered when I was beginning as a real estate investor was like, you know, you guys know my story, right? Like I was broke, I hated my job, all that kind of stuff. So what I did, I basically found a business that was in the realm of real estate, and I started working on the business. It was something I enjoyed, it was something I was passionate about. But in the beginning, your active income, right? This is your job. My pen's not gonna reciprocate here, or it could be a business that you own, right? This could be your job. This could be a business. My marker sucks. I'm gonna grab another one. You guys hold on. All right, here we go. This could be a job. This could be a business. It's most ideal if it's real estate related. Perhaps you're a realtor. Perhaps you're an appraiser, inspector, you know, all that type. You know, there's a lot of things you can do in the world of real estate. So that's one thing to consider, is if you're like, you know what, Brant, I want to be 100%. I'm 100% in with real estate, but I'm not doing real estate right now. Well, if you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week at some other job, that's a lot of time. I just decided, you know what, I want to spend all of my working hours in the real estate world, right? So consider that this is okay, that this active income, right, to start filling up this bucket to meet and exceed your bills. So let's talk about also some other things that that you can do to fill up the active income bucket. Once again, this is income that's going to pay your bills, right? It's going to satisfy your needs with your family, maybe trips, vacation, things like that. And the more and more income that you create in your active income bucket can now go to fund some passive investments. So what are some other things that you may be doing for active income? So we talked about a job. We talked about a business. That may be a service business. That could be a variety of different businesses. You may be, you know, a realtor, like I mentioned, very active as a realtor, not passive, not creating wealth. Wholesaling, guys, wholesaling is active income. If you're not doing marketing and if you don't have a dispositions, you know, process and team, or you're not putting in that energy and effort, guess what? You ain't doing any more deals. So wholesaling, flipping. Well, you're like, Brant, flipping is investing. Flipping is active income, guys. It's very active. I still flip houses to this day, so I get it. Have I built out a business that also wholesales and flips? Yes, but I'm acknowledging that this is a very active part, you know, active income. We do new construction. Maybe you're building new construction. We're doing development. You know, all those types of things are active income. So there's nothing wrong with this. But what I encourage you to do when you're considering areas to spend your time, energy, effort, focus, and resources with active income, I want you to do a couple of things, guys. I want you thinking about the financial impact of how you're trading your time and the money and the income that's going to generate. I want you thinking about your enjoyment level, your excitement level, the sustainability of it, okay? I want you thinking about all those things. But then, now this is critical, and this is where most people don't take their thought process and their decision making to, is does it have the opportunity to fill up the other buckets, okay? Fill up the other buckets, to fill up the passive income bucket. So let's talk about the passive income bucket. So the first thing, you know, a lot of you think are rentals. Rentals, guys, are deceiving, okay? They can be very, very active at times and very, very passive at times. But at times you got to understand, like, they kind of in and out of each bucket. They also help create wealth. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So multifamily, you know, you may be investing in apartments passively, right? As a passive investor, you know, there's someone else syndicating the deal and operating the deal. Extremely passive, love it. Notes, and going back to the multifamily thing, if you're that lead investor You got to understand that's like a development, right? That's a very active investment until you get it and position it to a passive position. Notes, love notes. Notes in the beginning, a little bit of work being active, but ultimately, 99% passive. And I'm a big investor in notes, owner finance notes, creating owner finance notes through single family and things like that. Lending. So you guys know, if you watch enough of my videos, that we do quite a bit of lending, mainly here locally in the Houston and Texas market. But lending's very passive. A little bit of work here, primarily passive. My mobile home parks. You guys know I love the mobile home parks. Very, very passive once they get positioned here. Okay, so if you notice, right, as you start building on and adding these passive streams of income, after a while, this income now is going to start to catch up to and hopefully meet or exceed your active income. Okay, and so when you start to do that, now you have a decision make. Hey, do I love this active income? Do I love what I'm doing in this arena? Do I love it? Am I passionate about it? Do I enjoy it? Is it sustainable? Or do I just want to live off my passive income? Or another decision that you may make, which is what I've done, is like, hey, do I love this? Do I enjoy this? It's sustainable. But do I just want to build a business around it and build a team to help generate this income without me working on it, so that these things here can ultimately become passive if you build the right business. So some businesses can actually be very, very passive too once you put in a lot of work. And then ultimately, guys, as you're buying rentals, you're buying multifamily, you have notes, mobile home parks, you're creating businesses, you have equity in what you're doing. And I'm going to add, now I think about it, you guys see me talk a lot about EXP. EXP is a very passive income for me that is filling up my active bucket. And then almost all of these items here that you do for passive income, you'll see that those are also going to overflow into create wealth into your wealth bucket, right? When you have equity in a rental property, you have equity in a multifamily deal or a mobile home park. If you have stock ownership in companies like I do with EXP, if you have equity in businesses that you own, all of those things fill up your wealth bucket. So these are the three buckets of real estate: active, passive, and wealth. And I want you guys thinking about today, like right now, today, what can you do to start filling up your buckets? Not your bucket, your buckets, because guys, a lot of this conversation, you may be starting out from ground zero and you're like, Brant, that's really easy for you to talk about this or do this because you've been doing this for so long. But guys, realize that I started out from nothing, no knowledge, no experience, and no money. No knowledge, no experience, no money, right? It just takes this, like I say, a dream and a drive, right? And that's how I got started. Those are the only two things I had, right? Because I didn't have, the money, I didn't have the experience, I didn't have any of that. I had a dream and I had a drive. So guys, I want you guys thinking about, because a lot of this conversation right now is not so much the how to go out and execute it. It's kind of the mindset. Like, I want you to have the mindset you can go out and do this. I'm often reminded of the story of Roger Bannister, who was the first person ever to run the 4-minute mile. I think it was in 1959, if I'm not mistaken. Feel free to correct me in the comments here. But Roger Bannister, everyone believed that it was impossible to ever run a 4-minute mile. So what Roger Bannister did was he not only practiced and trained, but he studied, right? He studied physiology and psychology, all these things. Like, he studied how it could possibly be done. And then, took time, but then lo and behold, Roger Bannister breaks the 4-minute mile. Suddenly, everyone, the world realized, oh, this is possible. What happened? Now there's thousands of people who have broke the 4-minute mile. And it was just because Roger Bannister led that way and showed them it's possible. So guys, wherever you're starting from, this is possible for you. Just do what I've said, right? Like, start out, focus on this active income bucket. Find out ways to meet and exceed your bills. Hell, figure out a plan to 10x your bills. If you're looking to make $100,000 a year, figure out a plan that makes $1 million a year. So if you fall short, maybe you're making $500,000 when in the beginning you were just happy with 100. Go for it. Like, set your goals higher. Create income actively. If you're spending your time and your energy each and every week to fill this bucket up, and not only fill it up, but fill it up so that it overflows, not only with money, but with opportunities in this real estate world through rentals, notes, mobile home parks, wholesaling, all these things that you're doing. And then ultimately, if you focus on this enough, what we focus on expands. You focus on this enough, it's ultimately going to help you create the wealth that you're desiring to create. So guys, that's it. Start with sustainability, enjoyment, things that you enjoy. Keep it in the real estate world and the real estate sphere. Don't go chase rabbits in other industries. Focus on it, guys, and I promise you it will expand, and that bucket will begin to flow to another and flow to another, guys. And just keep after, guys, because you can't lose if you don't quit. All right, guys, so I hope y'all enjoyed that, my little conversation of how to fill up your real estate buckets. If you like it, if you got some value from this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like buttons, guys. I appreciate you guys. Hit your comments in if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you want me to answer something, clarify something, please let me know. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you later.